Hey guys, and welcome to Project Premium Harvest. My name is Matt. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the project's results for the month of October. I will be discussing the yieldmax distributions, my xdte distributions, and some of my other long-term holdings and profit hit and runs. So you guys know me, the first thing I like to do when I get started is talk about account values. So for the month of October, I'm going to go off of the 11 p.m. on October 31st as my metric to use for my other graphs and charting. So that number is $106,859.76. Now let's move on to the next screen. Hey guys, before I proceed any further, I want to do a shout out to all of my current subscribers. Love all of you guys. Appreciate all the likes, comments. You guys mean the world to me, especially that this is just kind of a hobby and this channel is slowly growing and growing over time. And I'm getting better and better with these videos. For anyone that's a new subscriber, I would love to earn your subscription by this content being interesting enough, insightful enough, or just crazy enough where you've never seen something like this and you want to see how it plays out. I'm cool to any of them. Love to hear all of you guys' feedback in the comments. Love to see the likes. Now let's get started on the content. All right, guys, to recap what this project is all about is I took an $80,000 heloc loan against a rental property I own, threw that money into Robinhood, borrowed against it with margin, and I invested into high income ETFs called yieldmax and Roundhill. The whole goal of this project is to make a monthly income stream, right? So the more the monthly income stream, the better, right? The goal isn't necessarily for my account value to increase. However, that would be a good secondary side effect, but the end goal is to make a monthly income stream, right? Without losing my initial investment. So that's what this project is all about. So now let's kind of dive in. So now let's dive into the numbers. So for the month of October, as you guys can see here, for SCHD, I have that into a Roth IRA. So I only invested about 2 years now. So I only have about like $15,000, $16,000 in there. But for the month of October, no distributions for SCHD. For tsly, I had $1,458.58 distribution. That was actually pretty good, but I'm going to talk more about tsly in a minute here. For my amzy distribution, I made $895.11. And then for my nvdy distribution, I had $5,497.12. Right. So initially, in the beginning of the year, I invested into Deere. It's a good American company, but then the goals for this account changed from just kind of buying and holding good dividend stocks and good growth companies to just monthly income, right? So then for Deere, sold it out, don't have it anymore. But for SPY, I have about $4,000 to $5,000 worth. So I had a distribution this month of $14.17. For xdte, my total distribution was $33.69. Moving on to JEPI. So JEPI was $1.97 for the month of October, $2.85 for JEPQ. I own quite a bit of Oracle shares because I used to work for them and then got a couple of vests. So that distribution was $93.97. And yieldmax I just bought after the distribution in October, so I never got a distribution for them. And so for all of my automated methods of premium payments, I made $7,997.46. It's not too bad, almost $8,000. All right, guys. So when this project first started, I took the $83,104 HELOC loan against a rental property. After 5 months of this project, I was able to pay about $25,000 down on that loan, which is way ahead of what I need to do because technically my minimum payment for that HELOC loan is $796.82. Robinhood goal is about $5. And then right now I have a limit set for myself where I'm not borrowing more than about $75,000 in margin. So that monthly payment is about $400. So in total, I'm not spending more than $1,200 on debt to afford this specific project and this specific loan. Right. So this is just kind of like a metric for myself. I am a high income earner, so I'm probably going to pay somewhere around 35% in taxes. However, I am going to come out with a video about the return on capital, and it's different per ETF. Just kind of like a quick little synopsis of what I'm looking into. So if you're invested in tsly for a little bit, I actually sold out of it. That's why you can see that tsly is at 0 shares. I'm tired of the so the way that Tesla itself works, it moves in parabolic movements, right? So either it goes down really hard or it goes up really hard, right? So there's no chop. And then so for these funds to be successful, is there needs to be, these high income ETFs need to be successful. There needs to be chop. AMZ is a great chop. xdte is a great chop. nvdy is actually really great because it just continues going up, 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 and up, so that I never really see the NAV erosion, right? But for Tesla, it's just when the price moves so high, these option calls can't match that gain. So you're going to be losing out on that gain, and then you're only going to get that premium. And after what, I think a year, this fund lost like 47%. So after a certain point, you have to like do a hard look in the mirror and be like, hey, this isn't working out. Yeah, the premium was great. Yeah, you can basically hold it to get your money back. But for me, I don't think that losing 40% of your investment is really a good long-term solution, right? So that's why I stopped reinvesting. And then I just bit the bullet that once Tesla hit its peak, I sold it about like $13 a share. I just couldn't do it anymore. And guess what? Now it's back down at 11s. So it is what it is. Yeah, but where I was going with this tax bracket stuff is Tesla basically is 90% return of capital. So even though the fund lost 47%, you're still going to have to pay taxes on 10% of that distribution. So in theory, you're technically losing, 57% once it comes tax time. So it's not really a good look, right? So for me, once I kind of realized that and took a harder look at it, Tesla had to go. And hopefully if you have Tesla in there, sure, you can get your investment back, but long term, I don't think you guys should be throwing money into a sinking ship. It just doesn't make any sense, right? But initially I had 1,105 shares. I had about 1,400 shares, and then I finally sold out. So at the end of the day, I think I lost about $1,500, almost $2,000 of just like asset value loss. But I'll take that to protect the rest of my investment. So let's move on to nvdy. So when I first started this project for nvdy, I had about 4,681 shares. Now I have about 5,063.5. And then for AMZ, I started off the project with 1,101 shares. Now I have close to 1,200. So that's kind of a win. And with some of my different strategies, like my 50-50, I have a core foundational holding. For me, a core foundational holding is like a stock that doesn't fluctuate a lot. So for me, I'm particularly choosing SPY because whenever I get to the point of 100 shares of SPY, then I'll run just a wheel strategy on SPY to produce another monthly income stream. But that's more advanced and more to follow because that's still probably more than a year or two away before I really get to that kind of that game. And then currently, how we talked about earlier when we were looking at the Robinhood account value, it's at $106,859.76. Right now that we got some of the overview done, I want to look at the individual performance of the account. So in this graph I have here is, I still have to add ULT here, but I'll add that later on after my next distribution for them. But this just tracks the individual performance of the ETF to see if the distribution is going up, if it's going down, it's staying stagnant. So let's dive into the numbers. So for nvdy, since I've owned it, I bought it at almost a peak of when the distribution was super high. So it was these first two payments of like the 7,000 and then almost the 12,000 here. Those were almost like 2.0 distributions, which is crazy. And I'm still waiting for the day for it to hit another 2.0 because that made my life really happy, just seeing all that money. But then ever since that, it went back down to reality. So once it got back down to like the 6,000 mark, it's trading at like a 1.3 distribution rate. So $1.3 dollars per share. So then it's actually stagnating, going down. So definitely what I don't want to see, especially now that I have more and more shares, you want to see this number go up, but it is what it is. So this green line here, that's Tesla. This number matched the intended curve, right? So the more shares you have, the more money you're making. So in theory, it's actually doing the one thing right, was maintaining its premium payments. And for AMZ started off strong, and then it just kind of settled off into that chop zone. So somewhere between $1,050 to about $900 in premium payments. So nothing too crazy exciting there. All right, guys, now let's look at some of my premium growth. So as you can see, there's kind of like a downward trend because my account was heavily invested into nvdy. So because of the downward trend for the nvdy premium, we're going to see a downward trend for just my total monthly premium growth. So what I want to see is this number to actually go up, but it's pretty much been in a chop zone the last 3 months. Hopefully the month of November, it's going to go up, but that will be to be determined. All right, so you guys see here for my core holding value. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where this is where I'm investing in SPY. So it's good that this number is slowly going up. I threw some money for my profit hit and run into this. And yeah, now the number is close to $5,082, which is good. We want to see this upward trend going up, up, and up. So that's very good. All right, so for this part, this is the growth of the core holdings. So this is my amzy payment. So basically whatever my amzy payment is cut in half. So it's good to see that that number is continuing to go up the last 3 months. So that's a win in my book. So this is the part that nobody really wants to talk about, is taxes. And so for the 5 months I've been doing this project, I've netted about $42,000 after debt. So the amount of taxes I'm going to need to pay is about $16,872. Okay, so looking at this number, the net account value, that's all of my yieldmax investments, the distributions combined, right? So in the 5 months, I've made about $48,836 in distributions. And to make that $48,000 in distributions, it only cost me about, $4,796.75 of debt. So that's not too bad. Now let's move over to how much I made after debt. All right, so after you subtract the $4,800 worth of debt that I had to pay for like the HELOC loan and the Robinhood margin, I made a net of $42,022. So that's almost a 10x off of borrowing debt. To me, like, you're never going to get those kind of numbers anywhere else. So this is actually quite fascinating, quite interesting to me. But yeah, so this is kind of just like the overview of what the automated yieldmax was able to get me. And now I'm going to discuss my project or my profit hit runs in this next screen here. All right, guys, hopefully you can see this spreadsheet pretty clearly. Hopefully the numbers aren't too blurred. But for the month of October, I made a couple of trades throughout the month that made me net about $620. So the first trade I did was yieldte. I made a quick little $30 off of it. And then nvdy was kind of my big winner here, where on the ex-dividend day, I just bought 750 shares of it. Then it popped back up because the fund is pretty good at recovering its NAV. So I made a quick $420 profit in about 8 days. Then I went to nvdy again, and then currently I have a play of about 1,000 shares of ulte. I'm kind of undecided with what I want to do with this. I don't know if I want to keep it for like a month to get that premium, or whenever I hit kind of like a good sell point at $10.36 a share, or maybe higher, I just sell out and make my quick little profit. Yeah, so undecided at this time about what to do with ulte. I'm still trying to figure out if I like it or not. Right now I don't like it just because of how much NAV erosion it had since its inception, but the prospectus has changed, and what I've observed the last few weeks is that ulte is holding its NAV in some degree. So that's quite exciting to see for the future. But if it performs pretty good for the next couple of months, I may invest more money into it. But as it stands right now, I think my 1,000 shares at like $10,000 is a good start for now. And then we'll go from there. Then I did my next move was I bought PYPY at $17.89, sold it at a quick pop at 1801. This fund actually went to about 1850, so I definitely lost out on a potentially more gain. But for me, the whole point of this profit hint run is to make a quick profit. I'm not looking for a home run. I'm just looking for a quick, consistent little jabs. And eventually, after a while, these jabs are going to add up, and I'll have a big pool of money. And then on Halloween, I did a SPY call. because I saw the market dropped pretty significantly from like it was SPY was trading in the 580s. Then it dropped down to like 570, 569, bought a call, and then just set a limit order to execute once it met a certain threshold, and it just bagged $67. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, in total, $620. So if you combine my yieldmax distributions, where I didn't really have to do much, it was very automated, and my profit hit and runs, I made $8,617 for the month of October, which was pretty good, if you ask me. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. That's all I had, which is a quick, I wouldn't say quick account update, but just kind of what happened in October, some of the ideas I had with tsly. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope to see you again. Good luck on your journeys. Enjoy your journeys. Have fun out there, guys. Love you. Peace.